since I've been back making podcast episodes for you guys, but I have a lot to kind of share with you today, and I hope that you enjoy and gain some more knowledge from the rest of this episode. So, today I'm talking about finding yourself, and it's something that I've been deeply thinking about in my own personal life, because I feel like with this whole pandemic, it's kind of given a lot of us the chance to figure out what it is exactly that we want, what do we want to do in terms of jobs or goals or anything like that. And so I wanted to talk about finding yourself because I did do a blog post on it for a magazine called Beyond Sight. So I can find a way to link that here for you guys. But in the meantime, I think that with everything going on in the world, you need to find the time for yourself. Now, before we jump into me giving you guys advice and tips, let me explain why I've been so distant and kind of what's been going on. So, the last episode I made, that was kind of like literally like one of the last episodes I made, because at the time I was feeling kind of good, I was like, alright, I'm in a good mood, let me like put up some episodes, record some videos for my YouTube, whatever. But that same week that I had put out that episode for you guys, I think that's when my mental health like started kind of going in a different direction, because it was kind of like the peak of the semester ending, and so I was trying to catch up with work, but also trying to do all my like other things, like make these episodes and make videos for my YouTube and things like that. So it became really hard for me, and at one point I kind of just stopped, and I really like had to tell myself, like, what do you need right now? And what I needed was to just take the time for me, and so that's what I did. And so my semester ended a few weeks ago, like two weeks ago, and there's been other things that's happened in my personal life with people around me, and so a lot of it just kind of like played into the reason why I didn't want to put out content. And it's so ironic that I'm talking about finding yourself today, because of everything that I had to do and that I'm still doing for me. So finding yourself, I think it's like, the way I think of it is kind of like, if I'm not caring for myself, how is it that I'm going to be able to care for other people and put out stuff for other people? And so that's why I took the time I needed. But so for anybody else who's in the situation of like, you feel very stressed, you're going through a lot right now, I think it's really important that you take a few steps back and say to yourself, like, okay, I have this thing going on in my life, whether you're a mom or you are trying to take care of your family, things like that. It's like, I know that you want to be there for your family, but at the same time, you can't be there for your family if you're not even, taking care of yourself and making sure that you're checking in with yourself. And so it's gonna feel like it's being harsh, but I've literally had to tell people before, it's like, I wish I could help you with this, but I don't think I'm the best person for you to ask about whatever it is that you need help with. And that's not you being mean. I think that the more that you care for yourself, and when you do finally take that time to care for yourself, you are allowed to be selfish every now and then. You're allowed to say, you know what, I don't feel like things are working out the way I want it to right now. And then making sure that you are taking that time for yourself, figuring out what it is that you want. And that's why I called this Finding Yourself, because I feel like so many of us during this pandemic had a lot of time to really think through our choices, our goals, what we want to do, things like that. And so even in those moments where you feel like you may be at your lowest point, or at the point where you're just you need a break, those are the times for you to sit down, maybe write it down in a journal or something, and say, okay, how do I feel today? What am I thinking of? What are some of my goals that I want to accomplish? And the more that you care for yourself, the more you can give back to the people around you, the more that you can show them so much more love, and the more that you can, support them in whatever which way you can support them. And I still struggle with this a lot, because I feel like I internalize more than anything. And so if you're like me, I really think this advice is key for people like me who internalize a lot of their feelings and emotions, because I've always looked at it as I'm going through this thing, but I don't really want to talk about it, because I don't want to have to put that problem onto somebody else while they're dealing with their own thing. And so hence why I just kind of internalize everything, and I bottle it all up until one day it's somebody's are you okay? And then you just break down. So please, for yourself, for the people around you, but of course mostly for yourself, I really suggest that you think about what it is that you need. You do that self-reflection. You sit down, you take a step back from things that are going on in your life. And I realize that now more things are starting to get a little bit better, but still, I feel like there's a lot that this pandemic has taught me about how to be grateful, how to be more appreciative of things. And I think with that, it's now as you kind of get back into your everyday life, or you do the things that you used to do before, now kind of figuring out okay, I want to still take these things that I've done with me, the things that I did during the pandemic. I want to be able to keep going with those things, keep utilizing those things, and figuring out your own choices. And I think that that's really important more than anything now, especially with this, COVID still going on. Seriously, it's still happening. And I think that the more that we all kind of think about what we need, it's not you being selfish in a bad way. It's you being selfish because you genuinely need to care for yourself, and you are so important. And I think that, again, like I mentioned the last time, all of these things that I tell you guys are the things that I'm telling myself too, because as someone who doesn't share their thoughts and their emotions and feelings with people, I know that it's hard to be able to say, oh, but how do I prioritize my own mental health, and how do I take care of myself and really be there for me? But I think that recently I've kind of just started finding the things that I enjoy, doing the things that I enjoy. So, when the weather's getting nicer out, so going out, being with friends, and, obviously taking precautions because, of course, pandemic. And just things that you feel are the things that bring you just joy, and the things that make you happy, and the things that you need in the moment, So I hope that this was helpful. And if I can, I will find a way to link the blog that I wrote here. But if not, definitely head on over to my YouTube channel. There's everything that's linked there. So I hope that you guys were able to kind of understand the gist of this podcast. I know I was kind of like all over the place. It is like the first day back recording. So anyways, I will see you guys soon, and be sure to follow my Instagram at mindfulminute, and let me know what you guys want to hear next, and I'll see you next time.
Gender, pause, button, cancel, stop, button.